Alright guys, so today I'm going to do my top 10 Texas Chainsaw Massacre characters ranking, where I am doing a collaboration again with Derek from Derek's Horror Corner, and before I talk about my ranking, he's going to talk about his ranking, but with no description on why he feels this way about each character. So then you can go check his video out, and on his video I'm going to do one segment as well, where I say these top 10 but not describe them, but I will in this video. So we're doing a collab where you'll see each other in each video. So check out his video as well. And here is Derek's segment for his ranking. So take it away, Derek.
Hey, this is Derek from Derek's Horror Corner with yet another collab with Corey from CDR. This time we'll be ranking our top 10 characters in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. So I'm just going to give you my list, and that's it. No explanation. So if you want the explanation, you want the detail, come on over to my channel and check out my video. Corey's going to drop his list. I got two honorable mentions for you. I got Erin, played by Jessica Biel in the remake, and I got Darla, played by Tony Penske in Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. Those are my two honorable mentions. Now, here's my top 10. Heather, played by Alexandra Daddario from Texas Chainsaw 3D, is number 10. Number 9 is Eric from TCM The Beginning, played by Matt Balmer. 8 is Chrissy, played by Jordana Brewster, also from Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning. 7 is Drayton Stolier, played by Jim Sedow from Part 1 and Part 2, the originals. Number 6 is Stretch, played by Caroline Williams. Number 5 is Lefty, played by Dennis Hopper. Number 4 is Vilma, played by Matthew McConaughey in Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. Number 3 is Chop Top, played by Bill Moseley. Number 2 is Sheriff Hoyt, played by Arlie Ermey. And number 1 is Leatherface, with my favorite portrayals being Andrew Bernarski from The Beginning and the remake, and then Gunnar Hansen from the original. So that's my list of the top 10 characters in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. If you want to hear my explanations, come check out my video. And Corey, thanks for letting me collab with you on this.
Alright, thank you, Derek. Now let's talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre characters. This is something that Derek came up with, and I'm really glad that he did, because there are honestly a lot of very interesting characters in this franchise. Rewatching it, I really did like a lot of these characters, and doing a top 10 actually was kind of, like, not super hard, but it was kind of like, oh, I have a lot more options than I thought I did. So I really did like that this franchise has more than just 10 like characters I enjoy. And this is going to be, whether it's hero or villain, like, it's just any character from the franchise as a whole. So my number 10 would be Wilmer from Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation, played by Matthew McConaughey. That's all I have to say, really. Matthew McConaughey is fantastic in this role. He's so hilarious, so funny, intimidating actually, and really scary in some scenes. This character is just so batshit insane, and his performance is so memorable that I love this performance. I love this character. I wish that Matthew McConaughey would open up to this movie, but he hates that he was a part of this. Renee Zellweger at least says that she's proud of being in it, but he does not. So it's unfortunate, because he does give off a great performance, and even with his batshit crazy performance, you can tell that this guy is going to go places, and he did. And he is such a fantastic actor, and this first shows that. Even though it's a crazy role, it works in just a silly, crazy performance. So I really love Wilmer from The Next Generation. And then my number 9 would be Sally Hardesty from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, she doesn't have much to her, this character, because the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre is just about these characters basically getting slaughtered, which I guess you can say about any of the films. But for some reason, this character, like, I liked her. I liked the way that this character, as a final girl, like how smart she was, how this character, I mean, she was smart, but she also made a lot of mistakes too, and I thought that this actress, Marilyn Burns, is really great and really pulls off that terrified performance in the movie, and it really works in how strong her performance is, and I like her a lot, and I think that she is very likable in the movie, and I think that she does a great job as being this really cool final girl. Like, she doesn't have as much to her in terms of a final girl, but I really do love her performance, so she is number 9. And then my number 8 would be another final girl, which I think is actually really underrated. Another Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation character, which is Ginny, played by Renelle Zellweger. Now, Ginny is one of those characters that, like, when people rip on this movie, I always forget, and rewatching it, I forgot how great of a final girl Ginny is. Like, she's stuck around a lot of, like, bullshit. Like, this character and actress is stuck around a lot of crazy crap going on in the movie. But she's a really good final girl. She really works, and I liked how smart and intimidating she was. I liked how she told Leatherface to back down. I think that's awesome. I think that she in some ways is the better Ginny, or is the better Sally in some ways, because I feel like she's got a little more to do in the movie, and I do like Renee Zellweger's performance. And again, like Matthew McConaughey, you can tell that this actress is going to go places in this movie, and of course she did, like McConaughey did. But I really do love her performance. I think she's a really good final girl. So she's my number 8. And then my number 7 would be the hitchhiker from the original movie. Now, this character is scary as shit. Like, this guy, like, when you first meet this character, when they bring him into the van, this guy, like, is a loose cannon. Like, the way he talks, the way this actor performs, it is genuinely feels so uncomfortably realistic and so horrifying. What he does, like, there's no say about what's going to happen, what's he going to do, and he's just this loose cannon, and he is terrifying. And just the way the guy looks, Edwin Neal, like, he just looks terrifying in this movie. Looks unkempt, looks trashy, and it works so well. So the hitchhiker is a great scary character, and that's why he is my number 7. And then my number 6 would be a character that I think is kind of underrated in the franchise, which is Verna Sawyer. And the version of Verna Sawyer I'm going to talk about is Lily Taylor's character from Leatherface 2017, the prequel to the original movie. I really like this character. I liked how trashy and how horrible this character is, but I really liked Lily Taylor's performance. I thought that she actually gave this movie a lot of dignity, like, in terms of her performance. I really liked her, even though she's not in the movie much, I really liked how intimidating she was as the mother of this cannibalistic family. And they never really went into that in the other movies. And I like how she really is intimidating. She works very well, and her performance is very good. So I really like Verna Sawyer in Leatherface. And of course she comes back. Marilyn Burns plays her in Texas Chainsaw 3D, but I really like her in this version because she actually has a little more to do. So that's why Verna Sawyer is my number 6. And then my number 5 would be Chop Top from Part 2. This guy is so hilarious, so awesome, so creepy as well. That scene in Part 2 whenever Stretch first encounters Chop Top, and he's saying a lot of funny stuff, but Stretch is just loose, like, she's such a good final girl. She's trying to figure out what to do because she knows that this guy is a loose cannon too, like his brother, like the hitchhiker. And this guy brings such a great amount and mixture of fear and intimidation, but humor as well. It really scares me with this character, and I really do like Chop Top. Like, he is so funny. Like, lick my plate, you dog dick. Like, that line is so awesome. And the way that he acts, the way that he talks is in a very silly way, but again, he's very intimidating as well. It reminds me of Matthew McConaughey, too, where he's very silly, but he also is very intimidating. So Chop Top, I think, is more of a fun character, and I think that he's very cool, and just a cool character, and a very creepy and hilarious character. So that's why he's my number 5. And then my number 4 would be Erin, Jessica Biel's character from the remake. Now, this is a really cool final girl as well, because the way that this character has to deal with all this shit, I think, is more brutal than the original one, where she is so much more in harm's way. Like, in the original, Sally is running away from Leatherface and then gets tied up, but in this one, the way that Erin has to maneuver her way out of these situations with the cannibal killers, like, it's really great, and she is really awesome, and I think her performance is really good too, Jessica Biel. So I really like her in this movie a lot. I really like her struggle and her doing the good thing at the end of the movie where she takes that normal kid before the movie ends. I think that she's a really good final girl with a sense of smart and cunning, but also a sense of heart, because she takes this kid that, like, is just this normal kid that they're raising now. So I love that as well. So Aaron is my number 4. And then my number 3 would be Arlie Ermey's character, Charlie Hewitt, from the remake and the prequel to the remake. Now, Arlie Ermey is terrifying in these two movies, especially in the beginning, the prequel, because this character is such, again, kind of a loose cannon, but like you know what he wants. Like he's this guy who was in the military. He is insane with his regimen, where he is torturing these characters and torturing them in a way where he knows is sadistic and it's insane. And just because of Arlie Ermey's fantastic, incredible performance in these movies, it really blows me away and how scary and how intimidating this guy is. There's no humor with him either, because like the original movie in part 2, like that character of Drayden Sawyer is humorous in part 2 and not really in the part 1 as much. In this one, this guy blows that character out of the water in the first movie, and the character in the first movie is fine, Drayden Sawyer in the first movie, but this one, Arlie Ermey just really is incredible and really terrifying and intimidating and threatening, and the way that he tortures these guys with his military regime is really works in a great way. So that's why he's my number 3. And then my number 2 would be Leatherface, and I know you're thinking, which one? Honestly, I'm going to not pick the brutality route of Leatherface, and I'm going to pick part 1. I think, again, because of how gritty Leatherface is in the original, and it doesn't show much gore with him, I think he is the scariest in the original. That scene where Leatherface, it just zooms in on his face, and on his like mask face, and he's just like licking his mouth with his tongue and his teeth. It is disgusting and raw, and just how this guy, in the original movie, I felt like he's the only one out of all the out of all the Leatherface performances, I feel like he is the most intimidating and scary in terms of, not in terms of brutality, but in terms of creepiness. Like, he is legitimate scary in the first one in a way where I don't feel like the other ones did it the same. The other sequels are more for gore and more for like, he's this big hunk of a dude that'll like hurt you and like attack you, but like in this one, this guy just seems like a threatening, creepy ass like character. I really love him in the first one. So if I had to pick a Leatherface, it would be the first movie. And of course, Leatherface is iconic. The first movie gave this character an iconic status. So that's why obviously it had to be so high up on the list. But not my number 1. And my number 1 would be one that surprises people, because honestly, not their final girl, but I really love Stretch from part 2. This character is so fun and so awesome, because I really love Caroline Williams, and I really love her. I love that this character goes through so much in this movie, and I like how she starts out as this radio DJ who like encounters like these kids getting murdered on like the radio, leading up to her fighting and killing off most of the members, or fighting off most of the killers in the movie, even though Lefty, who's a character I should have had on here as well, he should have been an honorable mention, but Lefty kills most of them. But I really like how Stretch literally has to go through this whole turmoil of like the ending of the movie, like the way she becomes insane by the end of the movie, like is incredible. And I really loved her performance. I really loved how smart she maneuvered these villains. Whenever she first meets Chop Top, whenever he's talking to her in the radio station, she has to smartly figure out a way to get rid of him, or try to, even though she doesn't, but she tries to. And it is really intimidating and scary, and she's just a great final girl, and she really is my favorite final girl overall. So, and it's just Caroline Williams, I love her. So, but overall, this is my favorite character. I think that she's so fun and so likable, and just a great final girl. She's one of my favorites. So that's why she's my number 1. Controversial opinion, but I really love her. So that is my list of my ranking of the top 10 characters from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. So tell me down below what you think of the franchise. Check out Derek's review, and thank you guys so much for watching.